want to teach you the recipe of Sangak bread, which is Iranian whole wheat leavened flatbread. I took the many recipes in internet as a reference point to get here. I did improvise the recipes based on my experiments, so this recipe should be made a bit faster, more efficient, and even more delicious. It's not a hard bread in general to make, based on its very few ingredients items, but you need to be a bit patient in the process of making it. As for example, the dough needs to rest overnight for 12 hours or so. Without further ado, let's go on. Here are the all ingredients for the sourdough. For the measurements, I have either a tablespoon, teaspoon, or just a cup. You need wheat flour. It's like a whole wheat flour in the market. It looks like something like this. As you can see, it's kind of a less processed in a way that you even able to see the shelves of the grains. So you need 1 cup of wheat flour, whole wheat flour, then a tablespoon of yeast, which is like that in a dried form. It comes in this kind of packs. Normally you need to just have enough to fill a tablespoon, or also in a kind of a form which you can find in the fridge in the markets. This pack was like 50 grams and I used like half of it, which was equivalent to a tablespoon. Sugar, you need 1 tablespoon sugar, and also salt, just a pinch, like a teaspoon. The way you mix the ingredients is that first you pick up a big pot. Make sure it's big enough because this dough will rise. First add the water and the yeast, plus the sugar and the salt. Mix them well so you get a smooth mixture without any crystals in it. And then add the 1 cup of whole wheat flour and just mix it well for probably 5-10 minutes. You can do it with a spoon, nothing fancy. And then just cover the pot with some sort of plastic, or just put the lid on, and this dough should rise. You have to put it in the fridge for 12 to 24 hours. In my case, I haven't seen a big difference when I tried it both ways, so probably 12 hours is enough. Just make it a night before, and the next morning you wake up, you have the dough ready. So this is the sourdough after 12 hours. The texture is something like this. It's kind of not very sticky. It doesn't stick to your hands, and you know, it also comes out of the pot kind of easily. And when you kind of focus on it, you're able to see the bubbles. It shows that the yeast is active and it's constantly trying to rise. These are the ingredients for the main dough. You have 800 grams of whole wheat flour, which again is the same flour as we applied for the sourdough. I mean, if you have a pack of 1 kilo, it's even visually possible to get 800 grams of it, so no need for any fancy measurement stuff. You need 2 cups of room temperature kind of warm water, a pinch of salt, and it's sort of an additive which calls like a flour treatment agent. I mean, in this case you can apply, you know, it's like this one that I have is a potato starch, so it's like something like this, and that's it. So you kind of mix them all in an order that first you mix the dry ingredients like the 800 grams of flour, the salt, and the potato starch, or this flour treatment agent, and then you add the water. You add 2 cups of water, and then just mix it for 5 minutes to 10 minutes. And probably because of the volume, you're not able to do it properly with a spoon, so either use a mixer or you can apply your hands. that worked in my case. Finally, you'll mix your main dough with the sourdough that you have prepared earlier. Just simply add them together and try to mix them as much as you can, like probably for 10 minutes is enough. The texture is again like this, it doesn't stick and it comes off from the top kind of easily. It's recommended to let this dough stand for another 2 hours. I haven't tried it, so I cannot say how good it can be if you let it to stand for 2 hours, but probably just follow the recommendations always. Okay, now we are planning the dough on the tray. Make sure that you make some water ready because the dough is very sticky, so it doesn't stick to your hands. I don't know the measurements, just simply try to cover all the tray. I'm just picking as much as needed, so that's how it is. And I've earlier made some applied some grease on the sheet so it doesn't stick, and also put some sesame seeds just to make it fancy. Now the dough is flattened on the tray. It shouldn't be thick, and even you can see some holes, and that's okay. It took probably less than a minute to do this. It's a very thin dough here we have, just to show you. And now you can also apply some sesame seeds to make it even fancier. And finally, this goes in the oven. Make sure that your oven is preheated to 230 centigrade, and it should be there for probably half an hour. The dough is in the oven. I have preheated the oven to 230 degrees centigrade. We will let this be here in the mid section of the oven for 20 minutes, and finally in the last 10 minutes put it in the top section with the element and the grill on to make it a bit crispier on the top. So here's the final outcome, the Sangak bread. As you can see, it has not stick to the sheet. Very crispy at the same time, quite moist, so it's very chewable. I hope you enjoy it. My recommendation is that you can bake quite many in one batch and then cut them and put them in the freezer. It's very flat, doesn't take a lot of space, so I think that's one of the advantages of this bread. Next time you just want to take them out from the freezer, put some water on it, and then put it in the oven for a couple of minutes, and it becomes fresh again. And yeah, hope you liked it.